Welcome to Dwarven Forge Live. This is On the Anvil, episode 151. This is the show where we take you behind the scenes here at Dwarven Forge. We show you what we're working on. We show you some of the challenges we're facing. We show you a glimpse of the future. This is a show where we never have any technical difficulties, and we want to hear from you. Hop in the comments, interact with us, let us know what you're thinking. This is a show where we're going to hang out for 2 hours, talk tabletop, and enjoy a frosty beverage.
But you're just really letting that table have it.
First technical difficulty already. Hey, we're back.
We had a technical difficulty?
Oh, I forgot the cider. So that minor user error. That kind of technical. Oh man, do you have your opener on you? I might left mine on.
Yeah, I got an opener on me.
Would you like rosé or green apple?
Music was warped? That's odd.
Green apple or rosé?
Oh man, green apple. I'm gonna regret it. All right, let's do. Hang on.
It's a good way to open the show. Yeah.
I'll have to check that. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Music.
I wonder if we got like a bad download of it or something. I'll check it after this and.
All right, so we're.
Oh, it might just be Twitch.
I'm Nate, and you're Chris. What are we doing?
Well, today.
Woo!
So we just wrapped Dungeons Reforged, and that's been our focus for a long time, and we've got a lot of stuff we've kind of had on the stove. We wanted to talk about kind of what the next year-ish is looking like, because it's pretty cool. And we also have updates on the campaigns we did previously, progress that has happened there. So we're gonna unbox some Lowtown. We're gonna show some Starforge prototypes, not prototypes, but test shots.
Two of them, just to.
Two of them, yeah.
I didn't want to do the whole thing because it's probably going to take too long, but will.
Yeah.
So
and
talking future, looking at the past, and giving away money, right?
Giving away $50 of Dwarven Forge gift card. Yeah, we're doing that thing. So we'll be doing that probably about an hour in.
Woo!
It's gonna be a big one. We're gonna be off the next 2 Wednesdays because next week is Thanksgiving, and then the week after that we're gonna be in Philadelphia for PAX Unplugged. So we're not streaming either of those weeks. So we're gonna have a pretty big important one tonight.
So we have to cover 3 weeks worth of stuff tonight.
Basically, yeah.
I like that plan.
Yeah.
Should we? Speaking of going to PAX, should we? Does that mean
hit the news?
Our segue into the
Yes.
segue?
Yeah, if I can find it. Here we go.
News. It's the news.
Yeah, there we go.
What's in the news, Chris?
Well, just a couple things. I'm going to try to move through it quickly so we've got enough time for the stuff we really wanted to get to today. Our friends at Eldritch Foundry have a Kickstarter going. It's in the last week. It is for they're a fantastic custom miniature company. They got a little tool to build your mini and all that, and they're doing pre-painted. Oh, you've got it over there. Nice. Yes, that's a sample of what you could make with it. And they're doing a Kickstarter campaign for kicking off the pre-colored minis, and so I think it's the best deal you're gonna get on them.
This is the big jumbo, oversized. They have regular size minis too.
Yeah.
But look how cool that's exactly how it comes.
Yeah.
And you choose you paint it virtually in the thing, and then
it's
awesome.
I think we're also doing something with them for it. I was seeing there might be some kind of Dwarven Forge coupon situation involved. I wasn't aware of it. I think it's going through other people than me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think there might be something like that. It's probably on their page. I haven't had time to look at it yet.
Yeah, let's give them a coupon.
I literally saw that like 3 minutes before we went live. So go check that out. If you ever have to make minis, you can just get STLs pretty cheap to print them yourself. You can also get them printed just like this and sent to you. Tentacles with mouths, what will they think of next? I don't know. It's wild that they just have that base as a sculpt option. Yeah. It's
so good.
We have hype going? Nice.
So somebody should go check out what our coupon is.
Yeah. We've had so many other things going on. I've not been keeping terribly good track of it. you can see both Eldritch Foundry and us in Philadelphia in a couple weeks.
Woo!
We're going to be at PAX Unplugged in booth 4132. We'll be there Friday through Sunday, the whole time that the floor is open. We're going to have some Lowtown. We're going to have some Dungeons Reforged. We're going to have probably some other stuff.
Us,
Us.
humans.
Yeah, Nate's doing a panel.
3 p.m. on Friday.
We're doing the terrain for the Act Inc. game. A lot of stuff. I heard that, like, actually, it seems like a good amount of you are actually going to this one, which is exciting. Unplugged is one of my favorite conventions. It's entirely tabletop focused, which is nice, and it's very much centered around the game devs. A lot of independent developers just demoing their stuff. It's a very good vibe. It's very
Good
laid back.
scene. It's just like really just good folks. Good. Everybody's. I don't know. It's my favorite. It's really good.
Live show from PAX, we would die. I don't think we'd be able to pull it off. If we had the bandwidth and the equipment for it, I would love to. We currently do not.
Yeah, who's coming? Who's coming to PAX? You know who's coming to PAX? My kids. Talia's gonna drive down Saturday afternoon.
You're putting them to work.
Check out PAX, and we're gonna do a like a magic sealed. They have a triples sealed event.
Triples.
So we all get to make a
Triples
deck
is
together
best.
and then play against another triple team or whatever or something. I don't know. It'll be fun. Yeah, they're pretty hyped.
All right, David Moffat's going to be there. He's working at NPC Charles's booth. Yes. He's helping out there. So it'll be my first time getting to meet David, actually, because I've known of him for a while.
He's all over. He's everywhere. That's a lot of talent in one place. Charles and David in one spot.
Yeah. If his booth last year is any indication, it's going to be a really cool Dwarven Forge build there. So go check that out if you're going.
If you like Dwarven Forge, go check out Charles's booth. Who else is we'll do. I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of people with cool booths there too.
Another big thing we got going on tomorrow. We're launching our holiday market. We've been doing a holiday gift guide the last couple years on our store, where we highlight some good starter sets that we've got in stock, just to make a little curated collection that you could send to your family if they don't know what to get you, or if you're looking for ideas to get gifts for other people.
So we're not selling the holidays. We're selling.
Yes. We're expanding it this year. Mace has been working on connecting with a bunch of other companies that we like and want to support that do different kinds of products. So we've got some Turbo Dork paints in there. We've got some of the old school essentials rule books from Exalted Funeral in there. We've got some dice from Norse Foundry. There's a good little Smuggler's Coffee. We've got our own custom coffee blend that we're going to be selling in there. And that's all going live tomorrow. So that'll be an exciting time.
Oh, and some bundles.
And some new bundles.
Put some bundles
together. Put together 2 Caverns bundles. The dream is to have Caverns bundles that are available in all 3, potentially 4 paint schemes. We couldn't quite make it work with the sets that are available currently, but we've got
When's that ever happened?
But we've got a Crystal Caverns bundle that is available in both Underdoom and Standard, and a Ice or an Underground Lake bundle that is available in both Ice and Standard and features the runic columns. There's a couple good. Yeah, the Ice Lake bundle is kind of an expansion of one of the builds that we did for getting started with Caverns, where it was just like a Caverns core and the banks. We added is Ice Crystal Caverns in the works. That is a goal I have for next year.
Stretch goal.
Yeah, that is a thing we want to try and launch in the store next year, in between campaign deliveries, which is something I think we'll talk about later today. It's kind of grouped into our plans for next year. Yeah. And then outside of that, things I have left are basically talking about Lowtown and Starforged. If we wanted to start with kind of like Lowtown shipping.
Let's do Sharpforged first because that's quick.
Sharpforged? Okay.
Sharpforged, and it's self-contained.
Yes.
Guess what?
Look at that test shot.
That test shot. So
look at that test shot.
Starforged was March. When was it? Did we run that?
February through March.
February through March. So test shots are when they've made the mold and they run to they cast a couple pieces and send them to us to make sure everything's great before they go into full-blown production. Yeah. So we check them out. We make sure everything's working. Make sure there's nothing warped. It's all jiving. And look at this, the cockpit. And the thing comes off nice and smooth.
Mm-hmm.
So biscuit, like these test shots are so like I'm so happy with how everything feels in hand. The details are super crisp. There's gonna be anchor magnet in there. They're awesome. And we have a painted version of this that just came in. Crisp spotted. Boom.
That's the painted test shot. Yeah, the
Paint sample.
yeah, I boosted Nate's mic, so we should be good now.
Hey.
Um,
Not clear. Look at that. Look at that.
yeah, the test shots for Starforge have been moving extremely rapidly. Once they got started.
Yep.
They got started a little bit late, because Lowtown was running a little bit late, but
And we had some engineering we had still to hammer out.
Yeah.
And like, and right now we're looking like at best we're gonna get this stuff on the water like in March, which means shipping in May. That's my guess. We'll see. We'll put it in the official update.
Well, that's what we put in the update last time.
Yeah.
Because the big thing is, if we don't get it out to the docks by the time Lunar New Year happens, it basically just gets pushed back another month because we have to wait for Lunar New Year. The factory's off for.
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna beat the new year.
Yeah.
Like, there's just too many pieces. Like, I don't know. It all has to get cast and then painted and then packed and then packed into the container and then picked up and get onto the boat. Like it's just a lot of.
Yeah.
And the new year, they said they start leaving the middle of January this year.
So if things go extremely well and we do end up beating it, that's fantastic, and we'll update you on it. And
Yeah,
that'll
it'll be
great.
awesome.
But
And maybe
we're
container gets out. I don't know.
yeah, we're counting on that not happening. So we're currently assuming that we are not going to beat Lunar New Year. Looking at you guys getting this stuff in May next year, is what we're looking at. But it's coming out. It's going so. Oh man.
Look at Tri-Barrel Plaza.
Yeah, look at that gun.
And I'll tell you, it's so satisfying. Everything in Dwarvenite, nothing snapping. Like, all the biscuits are working. Like, it's a dream.
Yeah, the nice thing. So the biscuits are designed with Dwarvenite in mind, with like a soft plastic material in mind. So when we're working with our like printed prototypes that are in a hard resin, the issue mostly was with the pipes and catwalks. They would splinter when we put the biscuits in because they didn't have like the resilience to bend around the biscuits.
Like,
but it fits so much cleaner now that it's in the right material. Same thing we experienced with Lowtown, right? With Lowtown, suddenly all these things are sticking together in a way that the prototypes didn't because different material. It's just all functioning better than it ever has before, and it's really nice to see. Let's get that gun in Sinister, maybe.
Sinister, Space Sinister.
Yeah,
Sinister's taking over.
get it in Sith. A new Halo miniatures game just came out. Yeah, I've been
Really?
looking at it. Yeah, it came out. I think it's Mantic that did it.
That tracks.
It was very funny because they only launched with
Kings of War
Spartans.
is their other game, right?
They've done a lot. It is Mantic. Yeah, they've got a couple. I saw their booth for it at Adepticon last year. But it should work with
Starforge would be fantastic.
it should work with Starforged extremely well. Yeah. Has the color of the cannon changed?
Not significantly. Boop.
It looks very clean. I'm actually very happy with how they're.
Oh yeah.
The paint
they're
looks very
killing it.
clean. Let's see.
Sinister Starforge for Reaver Space. Ooh, we opened our hype chest.
Oh yeah, what's in the hype chest?
What do we get? What do we get?
Oh, we got it's.
A dancing
This is the danger dance emote. Okay, this is a soldier dancing in. All right, let's go ahead and share it.
What's a danger dance?
It's some emote. It must be some big streamer's emote or something. I don't know. Something big enough that's an official Twitch thing.
I usually dance around danger as well. I can relate to this emote. Gee.
Yeah. All that is to say, Starforge is looking very good. If you check the last update, we posted the final of the
Tech
floor terrain tray art.
So good.
We've got the tote bag design we posted a bit ago. There's a lot of stuff in the last update, and we're gonna have even more in this month's update because like test shots are coming in very quickly. Any updates for Mirrorscape? I received notice some sets are coming out, including sci-fi. Are we doing sci-fi and Mirrorscape?
I don't think it's any of ours.
Yeah. I'm not aware. Yeah, the sci-fi is in Dwarven Forge. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's not ours.
They have a lot of non-DF stuff.
Yeah, they're working with a lot of companies for their terrain. We don't have any plans to do Starforged on there.
Although it would be an
Currently.
easier.
It'd be easy to do.
STLs, it would
We
be
just don't currently have that plan. Yeah. When are we going to see a build for the Nostromo from Alien? Probably once we've got like enough of this stuff. Once we actually get them like a mass of core pieces in, we can start doing some really ambitious
That would be
builds
awesome.
with it. It's just a lot harder to get super ambitious with the prototype sometimes when it comes to the biscuits. Once we get the final material in and it just is working, at
Game
full
changer.
capacity. Is the Coltwood more red now? It might be a color correction thing. The tough thing with putting these things on camera is
Does it look red up here?
the tough thing
No,
with
it's
that
pretty. It's pretty almost dead on with what our
Yeah.
prototypes were.
is color correction and lighting, and then people's screen resolution, like it all. Trying to get like color temperature consistent across every screen and every little bit of tech that affects it is a little rough. Need some Dwarven Forge stickers to put on my storage boxes. It'd be fun to do stickers at some point.
We really do.
Hey,
Such
if you want merch, keep hammering us for merch.
Email Mace.
Yeah.
Email Jay directly. Actually, if you open a help ticket at customer support, that enough of those makes a difference. Don't tell Chuck.
Want some Alien Xenomorph minis? Get the Nemesis games.
Yeah.
The Nemesis games, the aliens there are very heavily Xenomorph inspired. They're not exactly Xenomorphs. You could probably
They're pretty
find a
much
Xenomorph.
like.
They're very close. It's definitely the same.
They could probably get sued.
Maybe.
It's pretty close.
When you look at that alien queen and everything, it's a little.
You're like, okay,
yeah,
that is.
it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty strong. Also, the official Aliens minis from Gale Force 9. Yeah, there's also that.
Cool.
Good for that. I'm sure there's also some stuff on Etsy or My Mini Factory you can find as well.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, stickers, patches, and hoodies.
Those would all be cool.
It'd be great to have a bunch of merch. I agree. Mountains of direct replicas on Etsy. Yeah, Etsy and My Mini Factory, you can find a lot of stuff. You can find a lot of legally distinct things on Etsy. Okay, so that's all that. It's
Lowtown?
Starforge. The last thing I had was Lowtown shipping, and then whatever else we want to talk about with Lowtown.
It's on the water, baby.
All of it.
We got everything. So I know there was some concern on the last update because we said only 4 containers are out. The big difference between Lowtown and Wildlands, well, there's 2 differences. One, Wildlands, it was during that shipping period there was a shortage of full-size containers, so we were having to use some half-size containers. And also, Lowtown packs down because it's all flat and square. It packs down much more compactly than Wildlands does. Because Wildlands had all these weird organic shapes and trees and big escarpments or whatever.
Yeah, like the
this
Rowans
stuff
would have a big
all
blister
is-
pack.
It's all just flat. Like, yeah, the trees were in a huge, like a bread, the size of a loaf of bread. Versus, there's nothing that has to have that big a thing here. So this is it's cooking. We should have the first container should be to our warehouse right around when we get back from PAX. The next 2 just before the end of the year, and we'll start shipping as soon as we have stuff that makes sense. It's exciting.
Yeah, we have a partnership with Exalted Funeral now with Old School Essentials. Tomorrow in our holiday market, we've got 3 of the Old School Essentials books in that holiday market. And we started talking to the team. They're a nice bunch of folks.
They're hyped.
Yeah. But yes, all of Lowtown is on the water. It's at this point we're just waiting for it to get here, and we can confirm we might. So like January, we might get some out before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Like as soon as the first container gets here, they've been updating the warehouse software to make it easier to uh, track partial shipments and such. And what they're saying is they might just start fulfilling even people with partial shipments
They
in
just
the
want to get
domestic
stuff
US.
out. Like as soon as
Yeah.
they have it, they want to get it
Yeah.
shipped out.
So as soon as that first container arrives, they're gonna have the warehouse churning around and getting that stuff back out. So some of it may be delivering by the end of the year, but then it'll be like going full tilt in January. All the containers should be received and should be going out in January.
So exciting.
Yeah. Is there a magnet on the bottom of the 4x4 floor? Yes. Yeah, the floors are magnetized
So let's look
now.
at so we've got we have this is downtown Dockside. I started cracking it open during the closing stream, and that just fell apart because there was a lot going on. This is the bottom of the 4x4 floor. Look at that little magnet. This is the insert. So the insert's double-sided. It's got parquet on one side, regular wood on the other. I recommend putting them in from the bottom. It's a tight fit. You could put a parquet in your floor if you wanted.
Yeah, the window pane works really well. It's nice having it in the right material.
Oh, it's the best. So I'm cracking all this stuff open because we're going to use it for the PAX build. And I thought you can look at it while we're cracking.
Why did we change the doorway again on the walls? So that there wouldn't be that step up if they were built in line, I believe, right?
Yeah, they looked cooler this way. The original theory was that you could then place your Mini like in the doorway, straddling the spaces, but like I don't know if anyone ever actually did that, and the doors were kind of goofy shaped. It just sort of ended up looking weird. So we made a header instead and made them feel more like real doors. That was the logic. Also gets them a little better on the squares, and on those 1 inches. Look at this, we got corner posts. Boom. We got all our window panes. So we got, let's try this. This will be fun. So let's put the green. We got the window pane slot in really nice from the top there. Whoop. Yeah. And then this is the big test. Can we fit the shutter in front of the window pane as advertised? Holy moly! Look at that. Whoop.
Nice.
And if you want to have it inside and outside, you can double up your panes. Whoop.
Everything works.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
That's the big thing. The level of engineering that it took for all of these pieces that need a pressure fit to fit perfectly.
Yeah, like, it was a thing. Just a little bit.
You better load the store. We tried to, months ago we went through. Jake just gave us a list of all the sets, and we tried to like identify like these are the
hot.
These are the core sets that we really need to lean into getting a lot of. We tried to predict there should be more store stock than we had with Wildlands.
But there also might be more demand. I don't know.
It's hard to tell. It's really hard to read. It's really hard to get a read on how much will be bought on the store release day, because everybody just got a ton of this stuff. So how much more are they going to want to get? But we try to at least set ourselves up with a good amount of all the core stuff, hoping that that'll last for a bit, and we can get like a lot of new people who missed the campaign to be able to get into the line. So we'll see. The nice thing is these sets are at least set up in a way where we should be able to reorder them pretty easily, compared to Wildlands where it took us a bit to be able to get some stuff back.
Lowtown is the first project where we were super ultra mega conscious of trying to make sets that could be evergreen and we could actually order. So I'm very hopeful that we did it right. But we will time will tell. Oh, look at these so I can't even tell you, everything works, like having these guys, the little wood rivets, just popping those in like nice and easy.
The moment people start playing with scaffolding, they'll want more. The scaffolding just working is extremely nice. That's been some of the most fun stuff to play with as the test shots have come in, is just making bizarre scaffolding shapes and having it all stick together perfectly has been wonderful. How many more reserve releases do you think there'll be before the retired sets are fully gone? Quite a bit, honestly. We're gonna have a couple more next year, at least for sure. Because there's some things that, man, because it's every now and then we'll go down to the warehouse and look around, and it's like, oh, there's
There's a pallet of something hidden somewhere.
Yeah, like they'll just
There's
discover
also some excess at the factory sometimes. Like
Yeah. Yeah, we're nowhere near done with getting rid of we're nowhere near done getting rid of the sets that we need to retire at this point.
And oftentimes there will be like, we'll sell everything down but leave 5 sets in reserve just in case, and then finally there may be a reserve release with maybe we might have 10 of a set, we'll do 5 of them in that reserve release, and then a year later finally say, okay, we don't need any more replacements on these, anything we can go, let's let those go for real, and it'll pop up.
But the biggest thing is, we're going to be looking at, now that we've got Dungeons Reforged coming, around the time that gets in, we're going to be trying to just get rid of all the stuff that we just replaced, because we don't want duplicate listings.
Yeah.
We don't want to have stuff that's confusing in there. We want it to be as easy to browse and parse through as possible. So we were trying to get rid of all of the repeat and duplicate wilderness stuff now that we've gone through and reconfigured the wilderness line, just so we can get that down. Yeah.
Ooh, let's play with the secret door. All right, what is this?
How big was the post crowdfunding hangover? I didn't get drunk at all.
Huh. The hangover going from like full tilt to no tilt.
Oh, just general exhaustion?
Yeah.
Pretty bad. General exhaustion was pretty bad.
Still tired.
Yeah. Still not feeling recovered, but it was a thing we got out of it. And it's like, oh, well, we've got a reserve release next week and the holiday market next week and PAX in 2 weeks. So, it took a little bit of time, but wow, that really fits kind of seamlessly.
Yeah. Let's try the broken one.
Just the amount of precision we're able to get on.
Well, Eli sculpted these
Pressure
things
fitting
like
now.
an absolute champ. So they're really like, look how nice that looks. Right? And then you could break one off and have it be like a broken beat down thing. Or you pop this one over here. Like, it's a really nice, like this little combo is.
Works a lot better than the prototypes.
Yeah.
Just having all this stuff. This is why Lowtown took so long. Like the amount of just making sure all this stuff was going to work perfectly. This is probably the most complicated engineering campaign we've done.
Well, it was so Lowtown was a perfect storm. So this kind of segues us into talking about the future a little bit, right? So Lowtown was a perfect storm in terms of it was the biggest offer we'd done to date, with a mix of the most pieces, the most sets, the ridiculous, we had 14 districts or something absurd, and 10 or 12 landmarks or something, like the amount of sets, like beyond the component sets, then the pledge sets, painted and unpainted, of all of those, plus stuff, like it was a staggering amount of stuff that we did. The amount of new pieces, the amount of new terrain trays and battle boards and roofs and 2 paint schemes, tapestries, rugs, window panes. Like there was so much. It was too much, right? It was too big on all fronts, both for the buying public, for the factory, for our own QC, for our timeline, for everything, right? It's taken us forever to get through all of this stuff. And invariably, there's going to be a few things that have slipped through the cracks, right? That are just not going to be perfect because we had something like 250 products we made on top of all the sets and whatever. So it was just really, while it was a great success in terms of, we made an amazing product line. Can you imagine? This was originally supposed to also include Hightown. That would have the company would have exploded. But fundamentally, we made a really cool thing. We got a bunch of awesome new backers, repeat backers, favorite. Like it was a great success, but it's been just like kicking it out has been brutal. And you guys have been waiting for how long? Like when did we finish that thing?
Man, we ran it February 2022.
Yeah. So like
No.
it's been a
Yeah.
is that
We ran it in
is it 2 years?
2022. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, was it
Somebody in there.
2023? Hang on, let me see.
16 districts, 13 landmarks, painted
on.
and unpainted.
Why do we do
Think
more
about
districts
that.
than landmarks? Why do we do more districts?
Uh,
Oh, they're kind of the completionist districts.
And then you
That's
could
what it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you could quad get the combos and whatever. It's like it is bonkers. So anyway, that was the that was the turning point where we're like, okay, we really have to try and scale this back, because that was after Wildlands. We're like, okay, we're gonna scale things back a little bit, and instead we got bigger. So for real, we've been working hard on trying to scale it back so that we can one, we can get projects out a little faster. Two, you don't have to spend as much per project. Three, we can deliver closer to on time because there's not like Starforged. If Lowtown wasn't late, Starforged would be on time. Like we got stuck behind Lowtown. Like we got lapped. Wildlands Reforged lapped Lowtown.
Yeah.
And then Starforged ran into it. Right. It was Starforged was ready to go, and it's like we're still finishing out Lowtown. So we are adjusting tech to smaller projects, somewhere between the size of Starforged, which was, what did we end up there? 36 new pieces?
Something like that, yeah.
Pieces, somewhere between 30 and 40 new pieces. And mixing in some reforges, right? So we had this Dungeon Reforge, we had 18 new pieces and some new terrain trays and texture mats and a whole new paint scheme. Holy moly, by the way, like the number of Sinister sets that we added, I was looking at the thing to try and start poking at Sinister Master Bundle. Like, we unlocked a lot of Sinister sets.
I think we ended up basically doubling the offer by the end. Like it was
more than that for Sinister. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like we had, because we only launched with those original core sets and the Deuses, and it was like it was ruins and grand features and mystic features and all the LED bits and also the bridge and like it is anyway. So that got pretty big, despite not being a lot of pieces. So we're working on trying to balance a combination of these reprint projects like these reforges, which let us go in, sort of breathe some new life into some older stuff, rescue some of those pieces that were lost, add some stuff that was missing, add some anchor magnets, do that, and then also some more medium scale new projects. And we'll talk about what we have coming down the pike on that front. So to that end, we have queued up next for Q1-ish, maybe Q2. We'll see how the timeline goes. It was spring. What do they call it? Late winter, early spring, something like. When does spring start? April?
Well, I mean, like the equinox is in March, I think, or is it in April?
I know, somewhere around March, April, May. So let's say spring. Yeah. This next thing will launch in the spring, springish. Yeah, soon in spring. So we have Cities Reforged going there, and we
March
have
21st. Okay.
The Sculptors Roundtable. When was that? What is time, Chris?
That was the day before close. That was a little under a week and a half ago. That was last Monday.
So we talked a little bit about it in there. There's a little bit of beans. There were a few cryptic bits, but basically the plan is we are going to go in and fix the older sets that we didn't touch in Lowtown. So we're gonna sort of go through all those old Kickstarter sets and rescue out all the tutor stuff that was hard to get, or pieces there was some stuff that was orphaned that was hard to get, stuff that we haven't reprinted. Like, I don't know, have we printed balconies since, or I don't know. There's a whole bunch of bits there. So we're gonna go through, clean up those sets. We're expanding out tutor, right? So you can expect some double high and narrow in tutor, so we can finish that. So that tutor, fieldstone, and rustic wood will basically be mirrors of each other relatively. It won't always be a one-to-one, but there should be sort of an analog in most of them for sort of narrow building, double high building, regular building, in packs that are all in the same ratios. So when you're getting floors or wall and post sets stuff, it's all going to kind of line up nice and clean. We are going back in and cleaning up the Imperial streets, so we're going to put some anchor magnets in there and do a mild expansion there. Couple of new things to breathe some life into Imperial streets, because you know what? They look really cool. Like those streets and alleys, some of those packs are just a mess, right? Was it you just trying to do something with those packs and you're like, this doesn't work at all?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the street compositions are extremely odd.
Especially the
They're
alleys.
they're a little goopy.
Well,
Well, because
they were
they were
split
designed to
over
go with specific pledge levels.
and they were split over
Yeah.
2 campaigns.
Yeah.
And they were, anyway, so we're going to clean up those packs. We're going to get some anchor magnets in those pieces, and we're going to add a couple of new pieces to give you some more street building options, because they look neat. These pieces are so satisfying, by the way. And then the Cities Reforged includes some Lowtown bundles. Don't know what's going to be in it just yet. But the goal, the purpose of it is to sort of clean up the cities line so that we can improve the web store and reorder for the web store, have like easier to access sets and the like. So I don't know if we'll have Lowtown stuff in there, because most likely the Lowtown sets were designed for the web and are probably pretty good. But I don't know. We'll see. We haven't actually put together the offer yet. We have all the sculpts. All but 2 pieces are done, I think, at this point. So like we're getting there on putting the sets together. But it's I mean, and there's a few more new pieces than we did in Dungeons. So that's like there's some stuff to look forward to, right? It's gonna be some fun bits.
Yeah.
Do we have questions yet, or should we keep going?
Let's see. There's been a number of questions coming in, so I'm gonna see. Yes, they're magnetizing. Yeah, so Jeffrey asked earlier if he should wait to get streets or alleys until the thing starts. If you want magnets, yeah,
Yep.
I think is the main thing.
The sculpts aren't going to change. We're just going to throw magnets on the bottom.
That said, like the ones that are in store currently are going to be cheaper than the new magnetized compositions and such. So if you don't mind not having magnets, or if you just want to get a little bit for a thing now and then you'll expand it later in the campaign or something, that's all valid.
And if you need them before 2026, you should order them.
That's
now,
true.
right?
Yeah, because Cities Reforged is probably going to deliver early 2026 is what we would imagine. Yeah.
Assuming we launch springish, that means we probably ship winterish. Who knows? It could maybe be sooner, but I'm not holding my. Ooh, this.
Yeah, new streets. So yeah, we're going to be trying to make it look like and we're going to be asking them to keep it matching the original street paint and all that. And it's just, you when you're talking about different people hand painting the sets, like getting them to like do like the dry brush consistently and stuff like that, like
it drifts over the years too. Like we
Yeah.
have, like you look at some of our dungeons stuff, like you can have sort of different eras of dungeon paint. But yeah, we're working on the consistency and whatnot. So anyway, so Cities Reforged, I'm pretty excited because if Dungeons Reforged is anything, it's just fun to go back in and clean up the stuff that was off from the previous, for years, stuff that's needed, to patching up, adding a couple of things. We're gonna add a little bit of greenery, right? The ivy was like one of the best-selling sets in Lowtown, so we expect a little more greenery in Cities Reforged.
there's some extremely cool stuff happening, and we'll be showing you more of it as we get closer to it. It really is like, I guess is it a so people have been asking about Hightown a lot, and I think some of the stuff that we were planning to do in Hightown.
Well, we talked about doing Imperial Streets in Hightown, and we figured we'd do it in here. So basically, the Hightown story is originally it was Cities Untold. We were going to do it was going to be Cities Untold, and it was going to have Hightown and Lowtown. It was going to be the kind of we done sort of middle town, right? We done Tudor and Fillstone. We were doing the lower part of town and the fancier part of town, and it was just too much because as you saw, like the Lowtown was already just way too much. So the challenge is we're having a lot of we're having a tough time with the ashlar, right? So we designed this ashlar, this sort of fine ashlar stone, and it wasn't landing creatively. They were having color challenges with the paint. We're having challenges with the texture on the sculpt and wasn't taking dry brush well. And it was just sort of, we've been going in circles on it a lot. And we're also kind of citied out, right? It had been like 2 years of Lowtown and just needed a break. So we've backburnered Hightown for a bit and are doing Cities Reforged kind of in the interim to patch up the rest of Cities, kind of help get some of that stuff that was going to be some of the Hightowny stuff that was things that were like really kind of needed, right? Fixing the streets up, doing a couple of bits, like fixing up the Tudor line. We're going to get all that out, and then it gives us a little more breathing room for Hightown being sort of all new stuff.
Yeah, because we talked about doing like updating Tudor with Hightown the way that we'd updated Fieldstone with this. So
we're trying to sister to Lowtown. We're going to do the same approach, but we're just jamming that out in Cities. Also, because some of that stuff's already sculpted, right? Like we'd sculpted the Tudor bits for when we originally were working on Cities Untold, and so it's already done. So like we might as well at least get that out and patch up Tudor. Look at these tapestries. These are really satisfying. A little magnet. The felt feels really nice.
Yeah. So maybe 2026 or maybe later because it's a lot of cities. Yeah, Hightown wouldn't be happening until 2026 at the earliest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is not in the cards for next year.
Yes. But we have a whole bunch of concepts. We have some pieces. We have some stuff that we need to salvage. We've got I don't know. It's a project. We'll get there. Yeah. But we're taking a few side quests until and we'll return back to the city. We're gonna go.
And I think the stuff that's being added with Cities Reforged is going to give you a good amount of stuff to kind of expand your city building. In the meantime, there's a lot of extremely cool stuff happening. It's gonna be really cool when we can show you like some of the stuff they've been coming up with.
Yeah, it's You'll be there's some stuff to get excited about in Cities Reforged, and then we'll take a break from Cities and wander off. So then the next thing after that is the working title is Perilous Frontiers, and it is essentially a Wildlands 2. Right, we're going back out into the wilderness, and we're going to tackle a couple more new biomes. But we're targeting 80 pieces, so it's half the size of Wildlands and a third the size of Lowtown. So it's something that's manageable, both from on our end and manufacturing wise. Where the heck is it? And it's gonna be really cool. We're deep in development as we speak, and it's I don't know. The organic stuff is really fun. Like we love this stuff. I mean, we love all of it. Honestly, it's all. But ooh, wow, I should pay that thing up. The facades are really snappy in there. This thing that had an attitude. Look at that, how cool those are.
Oh man. Yeah, watching this stuff also just work correctly is nice.
Oh, it's just like it doesn't no white stick involved. It's just like it's just sticking on there, doing what it's supposed to do. And then we still have, the weird loose end we still have is Where Heroes Dare, right? So we've been developing for, 2 years now, this board game with Stephen Baker. And
I think longer than that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think we announced it 2021, I think.
Does anybody know?
Maybe no. It's been a long time.
And the challenge is, it's a threefold challenge. So challenge number one is it's all new, right? It is like it's not our wheelhouse. Terrain-based board game. While the word terrain is in there, everything else is not in our standard wheelhouse. So there's a lot of unknowns. Two, we were working with people outside the studio, which is always it's always slower and a little more challenging, right? There's something like we have a lot of weird ways we work and have sort of figured it out, honed out our systems internally, but it never works as smoothly with outside people. And then the third challenge we have is trying to balance it with, we've got to keep the terrain, like we got to keep shoveling coal into the engine, right? The terrain is our engine. So trying to find the time to do this while also not losing steam on the rest of our terrain projects has been challenging. So I don't know where that's going to land right now. Like it's kind of in this weird limbo where we sat on it to get a what was this project? Dungeons Reforged out to try to figure out what it is. But I don't know how, like, looking at Perilous Frontiers, like, there's so much to do. I don't know how we're gonna get, like, I don't know how we're gonna do it. So we will keep you abreast on where that is, but it's been really hard to try to fit it all in. Here's the thing, it's hard fitting all this stuff in, right? Trying to, like Chris just said, like, we literally just got off of Dungeons Reforged, and there's a holiday market, there's PAX Unplugged, there's Starforged stuff that we got to get the masters for Dungeons Reforged have to get out to the factory. We got Lowtown stuff we got to unbox and fill. We have, like, there's just, like, everything just keeps going all at the same time because we're in this weird spot. You were talking about this earlier, where we have 3 projects outstanding at the same time, which is weird for us. We've never had that many all at the same time. So there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah,
that was a monologue. What did I miss?
Yeah, which I guess because at the same time as we're doing all of this, we are also putting effort into our web store and maintaining things outside of campaigns for the first time. Because for almost the entirety of the company's existence, that wasn't a thing that we really put a lot of effort into maintaining.
How about
we weren't trying to build that thing up. But we're trying to actually do store events and maintain, like, a consistent income from past work that we've done. And that involves going back and reconfiguring a lot of the stuff that we've done from our past campaigns into something that is more store stable. And so we've got that workload has increased dramatically. We're no longer just getting the highs of campaigns and then the slow periods in between. There's never really a slow period because anytime we're not working on campaigns, it's like, okay, we need to now double down on working on the web store in a way that we hadn't before.
And, like, you've been championing these straight to web store, right? We've had a lot of these little stealth straight to web store.
A ton of cavern expansion.
Yeah.
In the web store.
Sets that are little by little we're fleshing that out. And then, man, when Sinister hits the web store in November next year, like, we got to queue up some more Sinister stuff too, right? Like, it's there's a lot of we have more going on.
We've already been talking about doing that Sinister direct to store release and trying to target it for. So I guess that's another thing is, as far as restocks and expanding things go, we want to. So the big thing with, as we're shifting into this new, I guess that's really the best way to talk about it. So we've got 3 campaigns outstanding right now, and that is because with Lowtown we were still kind of on our usual old Dwarven Forge thing that we've been doing for nigh on a decade now,
but also pushed up to 11.
Yeah, pushed up to
bigger
11.
than
like it just kept getting bigger and bigger. But that was still kind of in the world of, like, our job is to make Kickstarter campaigns
the biggest we could possibly do.
Yeah, so getting bigger and bigger, and so with that happening, Lowtown was probably the last that we're going to see of something that size, where it takes us nearly 2 years to develop and
then to fulfill.
Yeah.
Right, because that's the thing. The timeline between we were talking about this before. The timeline between, like, Caverns Deep to Wildlands was, I don't know, that was probably 3 years with Hellscape in between, right? And then Wildlands to Lowtown was 2 years, and, like, there was a long time to get these big mega projects up. So,
and then
we got to let that go. We got to jam these things out.
And so the main thing is, with the campaigns that we've done so far, like Wildlands Reforged delivered in, like, 6 months, 5 or 6 months. It delivered early. Starforged, we're looking at delivering early next year, and it would have delivered sooner had it not been waiting for Lowtown to finish. Dungeons Reforged, we're looking at delivering within a year. Basically, we're looking at trying to do projects that take, like, at most a year to fulfill. So while we currently have 3 projects outstanding, as this new kind of workflow that we're getting into kind of catches up to us, as we come up on, like, a year of doing that, you're going to see our cycle kind of turn into, we will have one project that is fulfilling as the next project is going or in the pledge manager phase, and then that's going to deliver. And we'll have like small overlaps of two projects, but we're talking about doing smaller, more regular projects that also deliver a lot more quickly.
Yep.
Is the general goal. And then in between that, the other thing we really want to do is keep every arm of the company and every arm of our factory working the whole time, because the factory, it's not the same people doing everything at the factory, and it's not the same people doing everything at Dwarven Forge either. So while we are preparing a campaign here, like while we were running Dungeons Reforged, the sculpting team was preparing like the next two projects sculpting wise. Like you said, like sculpting for Cities Reforged is almost done.
Yeah. Well, our goal was to have it done by the time we ended Dungeons Reforged, and we're short. Like Kobe got COVID. Michelle was sick. Like we had like a couple of things we're slightly behind, but not by much.
Yeah.
And we're still way ahead of where we normally would be. Like
Yeah,
normally
the
we would
main
finish
thing
a
is-
project and be at zero, not even start the next one. We already
Yeah,
have
it used to
everything but
be-
2 sculpts done.
It used to be spend a year and a half or 2 years working on a huge project. Everybody takes like a week off after, and then we have a meeting like, what's the next thing going to be? And then then let's start sculpting it. But now we've been prepping like everything, like all this stuff going, and kind of masterminding like how to keep production going consistently. And then with the factory, we did Wildlands Reforged because it was like they're very busy with the mold making right now, but they don't have. They're going to have a gap of time where they aren't going to have any, like the production wing of the factory isn't going to be doing anything. So we're like, well, if we do a production only campaign for them, Wildlands Reforged was done entirely while they were making molds and before they could start production on Lowtown.
Yeah.
And so we're looking at that. And so in between all these campaigns that we're doing, we want to then take advantage of the time when they're in between production on those campaigns to do store expansions in a way that is really nice and beneficial. We've been doing some of that.
New pieces here and there.
Yeah, do like little expansions, things that don't really justify an entire campaign, but also things like I've had Hamster and Aaron start working on doing paint masters for Ice and Underdoom pieces that haven't existed before. So we've got Underdoom runic columns coming, and the Ice Cavern Riser coming next year. And we're looking at it, and it's like, wow, we need to do the entire Cave Cliff system in Ice, and we did the banks a couple, I think, last year. So continue to expand that, and then we're also talking about like, well, we know people want the dungeon elevation system in Sinister, so we should be prepping to do that. Like once Dungeons Reforged is a store, it'd be great if then a couple months later we had a store release that was this entire elevation expansion for Sinister. So trying to work in more events like that. So outside of the campaigns, we are still getting a steady drip feed of new content, even when it's not requiring new sculpting.
Rather than waiting 2 years for
Yeah.
for new content.
Yeah. So that's also a thing that we are trying to do while also doing more regular campaigns. And I think next year we're really going to start seeing all this pay off, because we're going to be delivering Lowtown over the next couple months. And then a couple months after that, you're going to get Starforged. And then a couple months after that, you're going to get Dungeons Reforged.
That's wild.
Like,
Meanwhile,
Cities Reforged will launch somewhere in the middle of that.
mm-hmm.
And then there's an outside possibilities we'll also get Perilous Frontiers launched next year. I'm not betting any money on it yet, mostly because we haven't locked our development, so we don't know exactly what we're making, so it's hard to give an estimate if we can make it or not, but it's a possibility.
Yeah. Dragos, I don't think we're at least not ready anytime soon to move off of the crowdfunding model entirely. There's still crowdfunding lets us do a level of outreach that we don't get to often do. It lets us do larger orders than we'd be able to do as a straight to store thing and get more people involved.
Well, and we can also, we know what you want. Like we don't have any waste. And we can pay for all this tooling.
Yeah.
Right? This tooling is expensive, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like Lowtown was $1 million worth of tooling. Like we got we don't have that kind of cash just lying around. Like so this lets us expand our product lines in ways that we never would. Otherwise, it would be just like a couple new ice pieces, right?
Yeah.
That already existed or whatever. Like a new, let's put some magnets on the sewers and call it a day.
Mm-hmm. Which that was a fun thing that we just randomly got to do. But there's a lot of these small things that it's like maybe this will be a straight to store thing. Maybe we do a Burroughs reimagining with a couple new pieces and we do that straight to store.
Yep.
Like down the line. Just stuff like that. So we're
Well, that's the thing too. Like,
yeah.
a reforged project, and maybe we need to have new names for it or whatever. But like, there's no reason we can't do a straight to web store small expansion for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing stopping us from doing that.
Yeah, I think the goal would be it would be great to eventually be able to move off of crowdfunding. Financially, it's currently not something there's reason for us to.
Well, it's
do.
awesome. Like,
Yeah.
it's not. There's nothing wrong with it other than if we're designing stuff just for it and not thinking of the long term of the web store.
Yeah.
That's the only downside. But no, it's amazing. Because also, here's the thing: not only we get all the cash up front, we also get the exact order up front, so we don't misorder. Nobody wants water wheels, and we order 600 water wheels, and we have to sit on them. We know exactly if it's popular or not because we know what you're buying. But also, we get your feedback, right? We get on the as before the thing is done, we get your feedback, so we're able to adjust and make it better.
Mm-hmm.
So like our projects are better for it. Like, it makes our final products are every time are improved by having you guys look at it and give feedback. It's always better. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I think the key is to just not make it the thing that is our lifeblood. Like, we can only survive by it. It should be this cool bonus that lets us make some really neat, larger lines that we could normally and expand some cool stuff and get some good feedback. But it's not our only means of survival. Man, there are a lot of pieces in this set.
Oh boy. Do we have any questions?
We do. We have one question that many people have been asking. How much did the factory airship you for what you're showing now? A whole district. So we got a bunch of districts, basically. Two districts so far, but we have more districts coming.
Not yet, but
not yet.
Yeah, we will.
What side is this? What are you unboxing?
This
currently?
is downtown Dockside. And I got the sweater. Hang on. Yeah, we got
So the biggest question people have is they're wanting to know what we're looking at for Perilous Frontiers.
All right. So Perilous is going to be sand and snow. Big beans. That's the I will not say more than that. Sand and snow. And we'll see what happens. But it's pretty exciting. We got a bunch of neat concepts, and some pretty cool stuff in development. And yeah, I think it's gonna flesh out our wilderness line in a great way. We're gonna let you do some things that you were never able to do before, and have some cool new biome, cool new looks. And did anybody ever ask for sand or snow? Is that the thing you think people are gonna like it, Chris?
Judging by the chat, I think so. Wait, like no joke, sand and snow? Yeah, no joke. That is what we're looking at. Yeah, sand and snow is the focus of the Perilous Frontiers campaign.
Yeah, it sounds like a joke, right?
Sand and snow.
No, it's just like, yeah. No, it's legitimately we're gonna do sand and snow, right? The Arctic, the Arctic wastes and the arid wastes, double wastes. Yeah, it should be fun. Got some. We'll see. We will. I don't know when we'll start showing you stuff, but we'll show you city stuff probably before we show you Perilous stuff. Geez, these biscuits are hard to get into the. This is a good problem, but holy moly, getting into the roofs is no joke. What other questions do we have?
Let's see. You guys need to take a break for weeks again if you're dropping bombs like sand and snow.
Yeah.
Is that 2026? Oh, timing.
Don't know. At best, it would be this time next year.
Mm-hmm.
At worst, it would be like Q1 in 2026 or something. I don't know. Once again, we haven't we haven't finished the concepting, so we don't know exactly what we're making. So it's hard to get a good estimate on it yet. But the aggressive goal would be to launch it October of next year. But we'll see. I
Let's see.
suspect it's going to slide into the spring of the following year.
Sand is desert and also beaches, I assume. We'll see. Is there overlap of the sculpts but different paint schemes?
Yes.
Yeah. That's part of the
Yeah,
reason for the
Sinister Sand and Sinister Snow. I mean, what could be better? That one's a joke. Just say it. Don't go running with that. But also that would be amazing. It's just like black sand and like teal rocks. It'd be like that would be kind of neat.
Still unboxing. Ooh. Other
Catacombs when? Man.
When?
Catacombs when?
Oh, so okay, so here's like Catacombs is definitely going to happen at some point, and it was one of the things we were talking about doing as part of Hightown, and then it was like, well, maybe it needs to just be its own thing because it's going to end up adding so many sculpts to Hightown. So I don't know when it's going to happen, but it will happen at some point because it's awesome. Michelle had a bunch of really cool concepts. We've got like it's in there percolating around somewhere. Who knows when? But it is very, very high on the list, up there with Hightown. We also have, well, I can tell you the list of things, like in my mental list of things that need reforging or my mini expansions are After Cities, caverns, burrows, sewers. Castle is its whole own, I don't know. It's like, I don't even know what to classify that as. That's like a project in all caps. Forsaken Temple and Hellscape, right? So there's still a bunch of stuff that could use some mini expansions / reforging or whatever. And then like big, like new stuff. So beyond Catacombs and Hightown, ruins, right? Like ruined everything. Like that's definitely something that needs to happen at some point.
I think you just
maybe
list...
Starforge 2. The dungeon depths, like doing crazy dungeon elevation is a and who knows what else down there.
Saying, I think he just listed all the things they make. Yeah. We have endless ideas.
Yeah.
What I will say, compared to Cities Reforged, they're still exploring and trying things out and sculpting with sand and snow, so we can't really be as specific about what's going to be in it necessarily.
Yeah, no specifics, because it's all in development. Like it's all, and here's the thing, it could also evolve, right? Like Cities Untold, great example, right? When that started, that was going to be ashlar stone and rustic wood, and it was going to be whatever, and then it turned into just Lowtown, and it evolves, and scaffolding kind of was going to be a small thing and turned into a big thing, and it could all evolve. So we'll see where it goes. But Sand and Snow is our starting point, and we'll see what that turns into.
All right, let's think of a giveaway word.
Chimney.
We got to get that going.
How is Sand and Snow one word?
Sand and Snow, one word. Okay, give me some time to put that in.
Cemeteries with catacombs. Yeah, that was what we were talking about, right, as a Lowtown thing. We're like, well, churches, temples, sacred spaces really go well hand in hand with like a cemetery and mausoleum, which go hand in hand with catacombs. So yeah, it was all kicked around as a thing. We'll get there at some point.
All right, so if you want a chance to win a $50 Dwarven Forge gift card, go ahead and type Sand and Snow, all as one word, in the chat, and we'll roll that in a few minutes. Sand and Snow, not Sand Snow, but Sand and Snow.
Sand and Snow.
Sand and Snow. Someday we'll just do a real word, but not today.
No, why?
Not today.
How fun is this? So we put 2 magnets on this because I wanted to be able to straddle roofs. Like if it had one magnet, you wouldn't be able to put it across two because it would want to go to the metal on one or the other, but not both. So we got straddly the lover's perch.
Let's see. If catacombs, any chance of cemeteries with catacombs? Definitely a chance. It's.
Didn't we just say that?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
juggling.
All good.
Kind of like the idea of catacombs kicking off Hightown. If Hightown's going to split into 3 campaigns, and then just working your way to the top of the city once you get to the 3rd campaign. Man, that would eat up a lot of our lives, I think. But we'll see.
It's a good idea. Yeah, what were the other? Oh, we just buried all the questions in the.
We buried them. I'm looking back to see what we got.
well, you
Underwater
scrolled
biome. Underwater is probably going to be a while.
It's hard when there's aquarium stores,
Yeah.
right? Like it's. I don't know. Here's the question: How many sessions have you had in an underwater environment?
Mm-hmm.
I think I had one once.
Sand can be an underwater biome. True. That's the thing with
Yeah.
underwater biomes. A lot of
Just
it.
turn the lights blue.
Yeah. A lot of it can just be stuff that we already have. I've seen people use Underdoom as underwater.
Yeah.
And that works really well. It's a difficult. It's probably the hardest biome to justify going in and doing a bunch of new sculpts and molds for. But yeah,
Underwater, not high on the, not really on the radar, but once we run out of all this other stuff, because the other thing, Starforge 2 could be underwater. There we go. Yeah.
that's what Nate
Alien
said about
planet.
modular ships. Then Critical Role spent half a campaign at sea. Yeah, but the other half of that campaign was in snow. So
Hey.
we made our choice.
They just went off script, They were,
Yeah.
we gave them they got ahead of it.
I guess
Sure.
spoilers for campaign 2. I don't know. How do you guys visualize Dwarven Forge in say 10 years? I have no idea, dude.
Hmm.
Man, I have no idea.
Yeah. I'm curious what impact this, Hasbro's trying to push their new digital, right, sigil, their digital platform or whatever. Like, I'm curious in 10 years, like, is that going to take hold and be the thing? Like, are we going to die off, like the people who sit around and play in person? And is it just going to be everybody playing on sigil or, whatever? I'm curious where that's going to be. Like record albums.
What's the mission statement? Still be around. I guess
Yeah,
is the main thing.
it still exists.
Yeah, still be a solvent company.
Yeah, we want to be making really cool
Solvent's good,
storytelling
right?
tools.
Solvent.
I think that means we can get melted down to liquid, right?
Oh. Okay, so maybe not solvent. Still be a functioning company. Soluble. Something. I don't know.
Soluble. We're highly absorbent as well.
In Cities Reforged, it would be appreciated, please, to get a way to put trees in line with cities. A 1x2 floor with a stump would be great for tree-lined streets or parks.
Everybody wants to build in line.
Yeah, adding trees to cities is a thing we're definitely. You said that, right? Yeah. Okay. I don't know if that exact idea is what we're doing, but I take tree planter stump lumps. Dwarven Forge on NASDAQ. Yeah, our goal is to be publicly traded.
Woof. Can you imagine how terrible that would be? Have like
Our goal
shareholders
is
and,
our goal is to sell to Hasbro.
Oh, that's... Imagine if you had to answer to shareholders
Mm-hmm.
and be like having to, I don't know, that would be just absolute death knell of capitalism. Is terrible.
Yeah.
All right, I'm down to the last two.
I
Huh?
don't.
Oh, because I already dumped all the scaffolding.
I
out.
don't think we have the other sculpted battle board here.
Yeah.
We do?
Oh no, not the one with the cool
With the pattern, yeah.
No.
I don't think we have a final copy of that one here yet. You have to answer to us. That's surely bad enough. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like, here's the difference. You buy stuff, shareholders just take money.
Yeah, a lot
Right?
of times
Look at this. All
they'll
this
be. The main thing is a lot of times you'll be answering to somebody who has no interest in the product or the
No, they just
industry or
want
the
money.
theme. They just know there's money in it. and then you're dealing with getting orders from somebody who doesn't really understand how your business works, how your product
Well-
works, and that's the worst.
Joke's on them. Physical modular terrain, not the
Yeah.
big money maker they thought it was.
No.
Hmm.
No, well, because probably the first thing they'd want to do is move us away from Dwarvenite.
Yeah,
They'd want to move us into 3D printing.
Yeah.
Yeah. To cut down on the overhead.
Yeah, why are you peddling in physical? Like,
Yeah,
just
why
sell
aren't
a
you
digital.
doing?
Yeah, it costs nothing. It's free. Tell people they can print it for free. Be billionaires.
Let's
All
see.
right, we're gonna put all of these.
As long as another company would do that. Yeah, that's the thing that's the thing we were talking about is if we sold to
Hasbro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, look at the little.
make Dwarven
flag.
Fort's the next big meme stock.
That
I
worked
don't know
out
how
well-
I'd feel seeing.
That worked out well for GameStop, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it worked. It worked for a little bit. Let's see.
Oh my god, these are so good.
Save some money. What do you need these artists for? Genuinely, that'd be a
Yeah, we can
thing.
have
A lot.
AI just design the terrain
Yeah.
and just ship you an STL.
A lot.
STL of the month program.
Yeah, a lot about how we work is not optimal for profits. So a lot of stuff would change if we. Yeah, a lot would change.
$DF
Yeah.
DWF is our trading sign on NASDAQ.
With Marvel's RPG hitting big this year, any chance of
Hmm.
modern building terrain in the future could be used as cyberpunk, hunters, etc. too.
Not high on the radar currently.
Yeah. Modern buildings would be. We've got a lot of other stuff we'd want to go through first. I think before
I'd rather do a second crack at Starforge, like
Mhm.
expand that first and try another swing at that before we go modern.
I should roll this giveaway.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Sand and Snow, last chance.
Yeah. Sand and Snow. If you haven't entered yet, Sand and Snow. I'm gonna roll it in like 30 seconds.
There's an overwhelming number of little.
Yeah.
Things to
Here's the
try out
thing. If the Marvel RPG blows up, and if they're the larger an audience for tactical combat modern games gets, the larger that gets, the more sense it makes for us to move into it instead of it just being 3D printed stuff or Scratch. Because the main thing is just we've got to be able to sell to a large enough user base to make our money back on the upfront cost of making the molds. Because we have to sell a lot of a piece before we've made our money back on what it costs to put that mold together and do the initial print run and all that. That's the main issue.
Adorable flags.
Yeah.
So they're sticky. They peel off, and then you wrap them over the clothesline and stick them together. They're die cut, and they're adorable. Look at this.
Starforge Part 2 would work for it. Yeah, there's stuff that we'll do in Starforge that would work with some modern stuff and would work with Marvel. You could use the Starforge buildings for Marvel, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Ooh, it's
Yeah.
felt, too.
all right, let's roll this.
It's getting close.
BM Paulman.
Congrats.
Congratulations. That's a long time. Seen that name around for a while.
Look at all these cool little flags.
With 2 M's at the end of it? Let me check. Yes, 2 M's.
And there's like the texture is so nice. It's felt. Ooh.
Okay.
These are not wildly reusable, if that's what you're asking, Yak. They're like once you stick them to the you bend them over, stick them to themselves, and then they're latched on.
There's a lot of options out there for modern buildings. Yeah, so let me think. Like even with, it's why we had to go so hard with Lowtown. Is there's just a lot of options for buildings out there in general, that are 3D printed or that
There
are
are probably more 3D printed buildings than any other.
Mhm. It's probably the most saturated thing we could get into. So with Lowtown and just our city system in general, we really have to try and provide something that is different than what's out there. Because if we try to just compete, if we try to do buildings the way that other companies are doing buildings, we're gonna have way higher, like we're gonna cost way more. And so we've got to like really find our own niche for it, which is why it's nice that Lowtown was as big a success as it was. Because yeah. A combo of cities and Starforge can make for a good modern setting. Yeah. Any plans on changing the light panels anytime soon, or are those safe to buy into?
They're safe.
Yeah, they're safe.
What would you want to change on them?
Yeah. We made like a slight change to them a while back that just made them better, and it didn't make the ones that we made before.
No, it didn't change. We just
Obsolete.
stopped making the chain ones. Everything now has a driver in it.
Yeah.
I think was the.
Yeah, it didn't invalidate any of the older ones, but we did like kind of like optimize them a bit.
Get Lampy.
Dwarven Forge so much better than 3D. We do different things, right? Like it's different tools. 3D can do a lot of stuff that is not really feasible or cost effective for us to do. So it's kind of about, what's the right tool for. Our big thing is trying to lean into the stuff that only we can do and do that like really well.
No bad. Oh, you know what? I don't think there's batteries because they airshipped.
Oh, they probably couldn't airship the batteries, yeah.
Oh, that was disappointing.
3D can complement Dwarven Forge really well. Yeah, it's very good when you need like a one-off set piece.
I wish I want light in here.
Yeah.
These are adorable.
Let's see.
That little chain. This is like the Michelle special, like adding a little real chain to a thing.
Any chance you'll produce some classic/versatile fantasy Dwarven Forge encounters like orcs, goblins, or gnolls with tents and wooden palisade forts? I'd kill for some of those at Dwarven Forge quality. Definitely have considered stuff like that.
I would love to do a palisade of some point. I have mocks somewhere that I roughed out.
Give us time. Give us time and we will. Yeah. I only own one with a driver and hadn't bought more yet. The set I have recommends 5. Yeah. Yeah, Lampy came out really well.
The Galadoria makes some neat palisades. If you want pre-painted.
Those pieces look really clean. Yeah, all the Lowtown stuff has been coming out just incredibly well.
Yeah.
Everything just fits the way it should.
Okay.
Very snug, very stable, very durable.
I can't get it.
Tons of old sculpts I see from what I assume was the resin era for Dwarven Forge. Are there ever plans to revisit those sculpts in Dwarvenite?
No.
The main thing is they would need to be completely resculpted, essentially, if we wanted to do those environments. Because the material that they're done in, if we used like the literal same sculpts that we did for those, it wouldn't translate into Dwarvenite very well. So we would need to, if we did Catacombs.
Translate to Dwarvenite fine. Like it would, maybe some of the Realm of the Ancients probably is too fine. The detail might be too fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's the bigger problem. I don't know what state all the masters are in. And we'd have to remake all the molds like that. It would,
There's also that.
It's a big expense.
I think we've also
the scale is off and things are not at right angles. I don't know. They need some work.
We'd want to completely rework it anyways, because there's also just a lot of stuff that we've learned to do since then as well. Wasn't there a Catacombs entrance that was lost? I think there were a lot of sculpts that were lost at a certain point.
Yeah,
the dwarves.
Stefan has a master of it somewhere, I think, or something. I don't know. There was the whole dwarf king's retinue. Like there was a whole bunch of dwarves and a forge and all this stuff that was lost. Like there were a lot of Stefan's watched a lot of pieces when a lot of things went missing.
Mm-hmm. Someday those dwarves are going to show up.
No.
Someday they're just going to show up at your door.
Wandy has them. Yeah, they're just going to show 13 dwarves will show up and 12 dwarves. How many dwarves? 12 in The Hobbit?
There was a lot. Oh God, in The Hobbit. Let's see. More than they needed, honestly.
As it was a fellowship of 13, wasn't it? Including Gandalf, maybe 11 dwarves plus a hobbit and a wizard?
13 dwarves in The Hobbit.
Right.
Yeah.
But I had it right the first time.
I'm not even sure they needed all of them.
No, they were really.
I would have told them to trim some of the fat.
Yeah.
You
could have done it with like 4.
Yeah, you didn't need all those dwarves.
No.
You're just being indulgent at that point.
You needed somebody to die.
Yeah.
And you needed one guy to be the protagonist turned antagonist. and
Man, that old animated Hobbit was
the back
So
sheet.
good.
Yeah.
yeah.
I bet Dragos like watches that every Christmas or something.
Yeah.
That's my
Let's see.
All right. What other questions do we have about
Not a ton.
Right,
We'll look to have a
Northern
decent support in the
Gold.
store when it does drop next year. We're planning to load up on a lot of the core sets, and we're trying to make those last a while. And then we'll reorder pretty quickly after, based on how the launch day goes, what sets we have. We'll see when the dust settles after the store launch. But the nice thing is we should be able to reorder those sets very easily. So yeah, we're planning to keep Lowtown around pretty easily. It was all the sets were designed with the ability to keep it in store in mind. What's y'all's favorite Lowtown sculpts?
Oh,
The lamppost
man.
has got to be one of them. The lamppost is very good.
There's so many. Jeffrey
Uh,
says it's the seawall. Huh?
Big water wheel fan. Huge
I-
on the water wheel. I
I
can't
like
wait to
the
get that.
whole the entire modular roof system because it's a whole system.
What are we looking at in terms of landmark / district bundles in the store?
Ooh,
We got to figure that out because we don't want to keep all of them in the store long
districts.
term.
I don't think are going to be a thing we reorder.
I think it makes sense
much.
to keep like the Wizards Townhouse around as a store bundle the way we've been doing it. But probably a couple of the landmarks that are very different, it would make sense to keep around. Probably the ones that were the most popular. We'll try to keep as in-store bundles.
I wish we had a windmill because I'm a big fan.
Nice. Well, that is all the dwarves. Thorin Oakshield or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Downtown Dockside will sell. Yeah, but it's got to have a lot of sets in stock to keep it around. That's the big thing. Oaken Shield. Got it. My daughter's watching. She thinks you're doing a great job.
Hey,
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate
I
it.
have the old animated Hobbit on a vinyl record with a storybook.
That's amazing.
Wow. Humble Homestead is a great place as a bundle. Definitely very nice to start off. Yeah, it's a really good. Those are pretty good. Like
The
exterior
landmarks are a little
scatterbuildings.
easier than the districts.
They don't require as many sets
Yeah.
to be in stock to be around. Yeah.
I think we should build.
Yeah.
Because what would we? Yeah, we got 40 minutes to go. Let's do it. Did we cover everything about where we're going? Yeah, we covered all the.
We've ended up.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll this
I
table.
think we've really kind of covered
Yeah.
a lot of the big stuff. Oh, I guess conventions. We're
Oh,
planning
yeah.
we're planning on hitting Adepticon, Gen Con, and PAX Unplugged again, as well as UK Games Expo.
Yeah.
Yeah. What replaces the Hamlet set?
That's a good question. Don't know.
Yeah, I don't know yet. That's a thing we'll have to answer as we get into Cities Reforged, probably.
Yeah, if you're looking at a Hamlet, I'd buy it now. Because it's gonna go the way of the dodo bird.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, order our campaigns once again. Cities Reforged, quarter 1 or 2 next year, and then Perilous Frontiers, probably around the end of next year, maybe a bit later.
Quarter 4 or quarter 1 of 2026, and who knows beyond that.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how progress on that goes. But that's what we're looking at currently.
That's a pretty big roadmap for us.
We've usually never talked about more than the one thing that's coming up next.
Yeah. Because we also usually didn't know more than the one thing that was coming up. Man, we are making progress.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes baby steps, sometimes what's bigger than a baby step?
Reforged before Cowtown?
Cowtown. Which one's Cowtown?
What's Cowtown? Hightown? Yes, before Hightown. Hightown 2026 at the earliest. We're still figuring out exactly what's going to happen with everything we had planned there. Some of the stuff we were going to do in Hightown is in Cities Reforged.
Yeah, we pulled out anything that we could.
Yeah. Gonna have more Dwarven Forge arrive next year than ever before. Yeah, we're gonna have 3 campaigns delivering over the course of like 6 months, basically.
It's gonna be bonkers. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a rapid fire onslaught of dwarven goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I hope everybody's ready to survive that sort of an onslaught.
Ham Planet? Yes.
Yeah, we're going to Ham Planet.
We're going
baby.
to Ham Planet, baby.
Did anybody back all 3 of those projects that are watching here?
I think probably a good amount of the people watching. Let's see. Yeah, Jeffrey did.
Yes.
Cowtown is a big old farmer's market in New Jersey, in my experience. Oh, nice. I'm glad that somebody's using that name. It's a good name.
Cowtown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, if you backed all 3 of those, you're gonna have a rapid. The year is gonna. It's gonna be a good year.
Yes. Cities Reforged is going to have a reworking and magnetization of streets. So, if that sounds interesting to you, keep your eyes peeled. We'll have more street details as we get closer to it.
Yeah.
Dungeons Reforged is my first Dwarven Forge backing. Nice. Welcome to the party.
And you're still watching. This is awesome. How did you get in?
All 3 here, 2 of the 3, 3.
Wow.
Let's see.
We're doing some.
Next Dwarven Forge collaboration project should be with the storage company.
Ha!
Maybe at some point. Let's see.
Man, I would love to design.
I mean,
the
if
ultimate...
things keep going well, if we keep building out the way we are, we might gain the capacity to start expanding in interesting ways like that.
we need the Container Store to sponsor our next.
Just work with Husky or something.
Yeah.
Do a collaboration. What is Perilous Frontiers? Any other details? It is the project after Cities Reforged.
It's basically Wildlands 2.
Yeah.
Stand in snow out in the wild.
Oh.
All right, let's build. I got a bunch of pieces here.
Bundles come with a $40 Dwarven Forge gift card, $30 Container Store gift card. Yeah.
A double gift card.
New project was announced. Yeah, baby. You just missed it. And we've
We'll
forbidden
talk about
and
it again
we,
in 6 months.
Yeah,
don't worry.
we told everybody that's watching that they're not allowed to talk about it. It was kind of just a privileged.
It's the Fight Club project. You can't
Yeah, it's a privileged
talk about
situation.
project. Yeah. Bum, bum, bum. First, Cities is going to be neat. I think don't write off Cities Reforged. It's going to have.
Yeah, I think Cities Reforged is going to be a cooler thing than you guys are expecting. There's some fun stuff happening. The reason it's happening is because there were some cool ideas there.
Here's the question: was Dungeons Reforged cooler than people were expecting? If the answer there is yes, then I think Cities Reforged will be cooler than you're expecting.
Yeah, I guess that's really the thing. Like, what did you think Dungeons Reforged was going to be? What did it wind up being? Got to jump, but wanted to say thanks to the DF team for building such amazing stuff. I used the Ice Cavern and Vaulted Dungeons on my D&D game for the first time the other day. My players were blown away. Keep up the great work.
Woo! What did
Thank
they
you.
love the most? Did it just make the combat crazy, or was it just the whole spectacle? Was it the fact that you'd gone the extra mile and built a thing?
Everybody's saying that they were surprised. Dungeons was more than they thought. They backed a lot more than they thought. A lot of people thought they weren't going to get anything, and they ended up doing a lot. Oh. I was going to skip Dungeons Reforged, but then I got new pieces and some Sinister. Nice. You were hyped for Dungeons Reforged? Okay, so you were expecting it to be pretty big. I was expecting to get only a few sets, and I got almost as much as I did for Starforged.
What did you end up getting?
Sinister broke my will. For an entire year, there are going to be no new pieces except 5 slight reworks. That's fair.
Yeah.
We cooked up a lot more new stuff than we initially expected. We'll spend about 4 times what I was planning on Reforged. Nice. It was awesome even for an old collector like myself. It was priced right, and it was nice to build up the collection. The guy that just used the terrain for the first time says the detail and elevation. The elevation adds a totally new element to D&D play. We tend to think in 2D when playing on a flat grid. Dwarven Forge really changes that. The ice terrain tray with a cracked ice overlay when the bridge collapsed is also rad.
Yes.
The way the terrain changed during play. So what did you...
God, I love that.
When the bridge
This
collapsed.
is like our vision statement, right?
So
Like
you had like the natural bridge in ice then, yeah. You were... Sounds like you worked some elevation into it.
it's so good.
Sinister was exactly what I was looking for, and seeing it at Gen Con was a seller. Wife said that's what I imagine a dungeon looks like.
Wow.
Stretch
Your
pay,
wife is a champ.
stretch pay option definitely helped. Pack combinations were a huge draw in Dungeons Reforged, and the few new set pieces are great to set an encounter. Dungeons Reforged was my first crowdfunding with Dwarven Forge, but I got impatient and ordered a bunch of caverns from the store to tide me by. Big battle next weekend in a mega cave for my home DCC campaign.
Nice.
Which is good for those who went painted, but a couple of new sculpts are pretty great.
Well, the hope was that you could get in for as little or as much as you wanted, right? If you just wanted to come in and grab an acid furnace, you could spend your $50 and get out of there. If you wanted to, if you saw some Sinister and you're like, I gotta have that, you could get as much. You could get a full-blown Ultimate Dungeon bundle. Like there was, the hope was that there were options, sort of however much you wanted to get in, there were options.
Yeah, we tried to plan around most people only getting a couple $100 of stuff.
I thought the average pledge was going to be $500.
Mm-hmm. It was double that, and then some. So
it's wild.
Yeah. Back dungeons for the first time. I had caverns only until then. It just seemed a good chance to get a whole lot at once. Shipping for Australia is expensive, so it was better value for me to back the project than buy in lots of little orders from the store.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah, that's very helpful. I wish we could do something to lower shipping costs for people overseas, but it's just kind of out of our hands.
Start a shipping company.
True.
Right?
We should start a shipping company and lose money on it.
Yeah.
Because the issue is
we can subsidize our shipping.
The issue is just that we don't have any controls over any control over duties and stuff.
See, this is a good plan. This is why we do this show. We can come up with good ideas like this.
Filled in gaps I've had since Kickstarter 1, things I could not swing the money for back then.
Right, and maybe you couldn't get the pieces or you couldn't get the whatever, and like that's exactly. This is it.
You guys should partner with Trench Crusade. He said French Crusade. I'm assuming you mean Trench Crusade. Make some modular trenches. I would love to. I'm very excited for that game.
That would be cool.
Didn't have any dungeons, so I went all out. Did not expect a new Fogger piece. Hoping I'll keep supporting special Fogger and Light Puck pieces for future Reforged and other campaigns.
Ooh, clip that and send it to Toby.
That's
his everything. He's like, we got to support the things that we have.
That's part of the thing, right? Is going back to the campaigns where we didn't have the Fogger and the Light Puck yet, and making some pieces that'll take advantage of them. Let's see. That pay over time option makes things pretty easy. Stretch pay has been like a godsend for our campaigns in general, I think. Like around half of the people backing, around half the value in the campaign is coming through stretch pay.
It's amazing.
And it's nice to think, if you think like if that increased, if that half that $800,000 or whatever that we got in stretch pay was, if those people even only got 10% more on average because they could get stretch pay, that's like $80,000. That's a big difference for us.
It seems to be stretch pay is sort of exactly what it's supposed to, and everybody seems to love it.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it's pretty cool.
It's 0% interest. It's free money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hamster's asking if we've got a modular boat.
Hey, Hamster.
Save stretch pay for the pledge manager. True. That's another thing. We still have the pledge manager to go too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. My Colt order has a second light puck. I hope the iOS app can handle 2. It can. You can switch between them.
Yeah, I've run 4 at once.
Have you guys thought about dungeon elevations but lower? Dungeon depressions? I think dungeon depressions is just fear and loathing.
Spend too much time in there.
Hey, or darkest dungeon.
Here's a question. If there's a bunch of Sinister lovers here. If a Sinister Master bundle came in at about $1,450, does that feel about right? Right now, the vaulted Master bundle is like 1,300 painted, and this is, I think, right now penciled in at like 14,500. Does that feel like about the right spot? And it's a pretty similar collection. It doesn't have, there's not all the same sets, so there's some differences, but it's like that generally it's the same vibe.
Is it one of everything?
No,
no.
one of everything would be more than that. Like we unlocked so much stuff. Like one of everything would be like $2,500 or something. Like it's maybe a third of the Sinister stuff. Because there's somewhere between a half and a third, whatever number that is.
Yeah, the goal with the master bundles is not to get you everything, but it's to give you a good amount that's going to let you just do a ton of stuff.
A toolbox that's like the versatile collection that gets you most, you're equipped for most encounters. Is the hope.
I would definitely up my pledge for a Sinister Master Bundle. Well, we're working on it. We're figuring out what that's going to look like, because we want it to just be a really good, interesting offering that takes advantage of the stuff that got unlocked.
Yeah. All right. So,
do you know what were the top?
Sinister Roboticist says that's sort of exactly what they're expecting. That's definitely my pledge. It's about I think it's like it's discounted about I think it's almost a $200 discount or something.
Do you know what were the top 3 sets or pieces from the Dungeons Reforged? The biggest one, the Dungeon Compass coin.
Yeah, cheating. It was Acid Furnace Dread Pedestal were like up there on a train tray. I think,
yeah,
right?
it's looking like, let me see, this is saying last 30 days. Okay, let's go for full crowdfunding. I'm looking at the analytics now to get the Acid Furnace, Demon's Maw, the Dungeon Floor terrain tray with the Dread Pedestal like right behind it.
Yeah.
And then Demon's Maw Sinister right behind that, and then the Dungeon Triple Bundle and Sinister, which is wild for one of the bundles to be up as high as those things.
That's awesome.
And then the 6x12 Dungeon Floor trays, and then Eerie LED elements.
Yeah.
And then Dread Pedestal Sinister.
Well, here's what's awesome too. We can see, because it's game found, we can see if you're buying these things. So like when we added, everybody's like, hey, we'd buy Ghost Fire torches if you had them. We added them, and guess what? You were like immediately started buying them. It was awesome. You were right. You did want the thing.
Yeah. And yeah, 41% of backers use stretch pay in the campaign, and it accounted for over half of the money in the campaign. So I'm curious to see where it ends up when we then see how many of those people who didn't use stretch pay in the campaign, when they use it in Pledge Manager, what those numbers are going to end up at.
I bet it's going to be 50%.
Yeah.
We'll
it's the analytics. GameFound recently expanded their analytics, and it's really nice. Like a couple weeks ago, they added a bunch of stuff to it, so it's very nice.
It's very nice.
Is that counting unpainted and painted versions? No, it's just counting the painted.
Yeah, unpainted comes further
down. That's all painted numbers. The unpainted numbers didn't go up high enough to make it onto the top 10, which is just standard for us.
We're usually somewhere between like 75 and 80% painted.
Yeah. The nice thing is, we were looking at a lot of the new stuff that we made. Like when we look at like what did the best, it was a lot of the new stuff, the stuff that is requiring molds being made.
It was
so
all new stuff, or Sinister.
Or Sinister, yeah. So that's the really nice thing.
Yeah.
On screen, right?
That's like the Golem, the Construct Guardians pack, doing really well, right? Some of those like roundups of things that were hard to get.
Is Sinister Elevation still in the works, or is that going to be definitely out of scope? Not for the campaign, but we're talking about making it a direct to store edition, hopefully by the end of next year.
It's something we'd like to do.
Yeah.
At some point, we'll get there.
That scaffold lining up perfectly was satisfying, dude. Just all of this stuff actually working the way it's supposed to is fantastic.
I think you're going to be very happy when you get this stuff in hand.
On screen right now, do we have all 3 stair heights on display? We do. You can see all 3 of them right now. You've got the shortest on the docks right there. You've got the middle by the thatched roof, and you've got the longest on the right side of the screen.
Yeah. And I got the ladder. Oh, the ladder's off screen. The ladder's over there, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And man, the ladder's just working correctly is very nice.
It's laddering around. I'm trying to get this, do something with the bridge. Although, you know what I want is, I want the little balcony.
This is a build for packs, yes.
Yeah. Try and do some Lowtown fun. Figured we'd build and play and see what we can. Oh, you know what? Maybe I do a wraparound. Yeah, we'll do like a little wraparound balconies.
What happens if the integral biscuit on the stairs break? Is it easy to replace or fix? You're gonna want to glue it back on, I guess.
Ooh, I don't think it's gonna break off. Like it's pretty firm. I mean, I can try and break one.
Please don't.
Yeah, I don't. I think you're gonna have a hard time breaking that thing off.
Yeah, you'd have to do something pretty extreme.
If you
to
did,
break it
then
off.
you'd have to white stick or something, because it would. Or you could peg it if you're like a Warhammer person. You have little tiny brass rods and a drill. You could peg. It just there's so much shearing force. I think it's gonna be really hard to like glue and have it stay. You need something inside, like a. Or you could It'd be tough if it comes off. We'll see. We'll have to monitor, see if any of them pop off, as it were. Oh man, I just want to put those little tiny rivets in all the biscuit holes and stuff now, just because we have them, like just to try it.
Has there been any progress on the 3D scans of pieces? It would help us unpainted people an incredible amount.
Oh, like if you could see, if we had like a database, so you could go to the site and like see a 360 of the piece. Oh, that's interesting.
Are you using the biscuit removal tool?
No, because I don't know where it is.
Oh. Well, that doesn't help.
I haven't needed it.
Fair.
I've needed a pair of pliers.
Super excited for future stuff, but I can't say much. Oh, Hamster, I don't know how much you caught. We announced Perilous Frontiers and Cities Reforged and talked about a little bit about what's going to be in them. We haven't done any specific sculpts, I don't think, but we've talked about. We said Sand and Snow for Perilous Frontiers.
We didn't talk about the super
that.
secret thing that you're working on, though, Hamster.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, don't talk about that. They announced everything. Yeah, so they announced everything, so go ahead and just say whatever you want about everything. Nothing is sacred at this point.
Except for cows. Cows remain sacred.
360s of the paint schemes would be very useful. It's a lot for us to add on to what we're doing, I guess is the only thing.
It's a neat idea.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a neat idea. This needs to go up another level. We'll get there.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is the waterfall to paint? Might have to crack into Wildlands.
I don't think it's hard at all. Right? You dry brush a little bit of white on there, and
I'm pretty sure we show the waterfall specifically in a video.
Yeah, it's just paint the stone and then just dry brush a little bit of white on that. Oh, you might need. I think it's more clear, so you might need a light ink wash.
What's the ETA on Lowtown painting PDFs?
Hamster can tell you. Oh,
I think they're in the works.
I don't know. We do have a Lowtown painting video, which is being edited as we speak.
Transparent blue, then white dry brush. I think it's in the mountains. I think it's in the painting mountains video. I think there's a section that is covering just the waterfall. Waterfall's easy if you follow the guide. Yeah, it's also in the mountain PDF guide as well, on the site. Let's see. It is sick.
Look at that. We already have. It's nice when someone asks for a thing and it already exists. That doesn't happen often.
Not sure about the timing of the PDFs, but always feel free to tag him. Yeah, you can always tag Hamster in the Discord if you have questions, and he'll go in on stuff. He's a big advocate for convincing people that this stuff isn't as hard and scary as it looks.
It's more hard and scary.
No. That's the thing. When he showed how to do the Sinister Marble on the painting stream during Dungeons Reforged, like, it was just a incredibly easy thing to do that I think a lot of people were really worried about. But it's a super simple thing.
You know, I feel like not to belittle. This isn't belittling painting at all, but in general, a lot of some of the hardest stuff of painting is the theory, like figuring out the recipe and the thing and how, like, what you're gonna need to do to make it look good, but the execution tends to not be as hard as figuring out what the secret recipe is. Like, particularly something that's replicatable quickly. Like fundamentally, like once you know what you're doing for the docks, it's just like, I don't know, like 2 dry brushes, like you get out. Like it's not a crazy, but it's like kind of getting to that point where it's just what's that mixture, the alchemy of colors that's going to achieve that result, that have that impact and that pop, in general for terrain.
About all my Starforge
Camper could
scaffolding.
disagree, but I don't know.
He's
a genius. Don't get me wrong.
Crab battle. The catwalks and pipes are going to be a very easy paint job to do. Front painted. Like that's a super simple. You're just going over the piece with one color, basically. Like you're just making a little metal mix and going in on it. From what I understand, that's a good place to start if you need to like kind of build up your confidence. Let's see.
Honestly, like just like dry brushing a piece for the first time and sort of seeing it like magically appear quickly boosts any confidence. You see it like, oh wait, I could do this.
Yeah, just don't start with Hellscape and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Hellscape is the one thing I will not advocate for a new timer, for a newcomer. We need Sinister Paint. Any update on that? The purple. Like for the pillars?
We don't have currently, or not adding yet, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Vertex artist is ready. Eyes are really hard to paint. There's on miniatures in particular. There's a lot of very specific challenges, but like in general for painting terrain,
Miniature is a lot more difficult. Yeah, terrain you're doing more broad strokes.
Yeah, and you just need to sort of have, this figure out the magic. You're just sort of figuring out this sort of just the right balance of colors and how they're together, and suddenly it does its thing.
Big Bad Booty Man. There are still some pieces from Caverns Deep that haven't been produced since the Kickstarter. Will we be seeing any of those missing pieces being produced over the next year? I've been waiting patiently for 6 years to get them. Woof. Yes, that is a big goal for me next year, is to push the Caverns reconfigs a lot further. Which ones particularly are you looking for? Because there's 2 things we're kind of tackling with Caverns. It's getting pieces in the other paint schemes that they've been missing in. So getting some Ice and Underdoom versions of stuff. And there's also getting back to some pieces altogether, like the Shamanic Circle from, for example.
Yeah, all the like Shrine of Skisresa had a whole bunch of
Summoning Circles, Shrine of Skisresa,
hard things to get from.
So Skisresa specifically is something I've been looking at, and I think I've got an idea for a set for it that I think will get most of the dressing out of there. That's pretty nice. Summoning Circle. A lot of those I like are on the docket for kind of making new thematic dressing packs out of, essentially. All the stuff from the adventure packs.
Yeah.
We've been getting some of them out of there. There's some things that are a little trickier.
It may have to wait for a reforge. We'll see where it all. There's a lot of pieces hidden in that that campaign.
Mm-hmm. Any chance to show pieces in other paint schemes? Love to see Pedestal to Paint in Standard, Underdoom, and Ice, and also back in stock in Hellscape.
We had it in Standard.
Mm-hmm. I do want to restock the Hellscape and Standard versions and get that going.
Pedestal Paint is an awesome piece.
It's a really cool, it's another Stairway to Violence. Yeah. And when we brought back Stairway to Violence, it did really well. So yeah, I want to get that back. Doing that in Ice and Underdoom.
I don't know how it would work in Ice because it's got lava on it.
You'd have to get really creative with the alt paint. I think we could see justifying the Underdoom, perhaps.
Underdoom could work.
I will say it's not one of the higher priorities compared to some of the other set pieces. Like, for example, Runic Columns in Underdoom and the Cavern Entrance Riser in Ice are both in the works. They've been making new paint masters for them, so we can do that. So the goal is to eventually get all these things available in every paint scheme. It's just going to take time to do that, but that is the goal. Yeah, Moam is on the way. Moam is coming.
Look how fun that
Mother
is.
of all mushrooms is
Flying
coming
this
in
thing around
February.
with biscuits. It's the best.
It's just it all just works.
I think they need to kick this up one level higher.
What I will say, the miniatures from Caverns Deep are lower priority than the other pieces that are in there, but I do eventually want to find a way to get a lot of those miniatures back as well. They're lower priority than the terrain because the terrain is where our bread is buttered, basically.
Because everybody puts butter on their mountains and stuff, right?
Yeah. How challenging would it be to change the translucent color of a piece like that from the waterfall or hellscape? I can imagine if hellscape was like the waterfall's casting color, you can maybe get some very cool ice color schemes. That would be
If
a
it's cast in
process.
clear, you can just do like an ink wash. And
It'd be a process that we'd have to kind of play around with more. It definitely complicates the thing if we, because I know what you're
Oh,
asking
if
about.
we're
changing.
doing it, yeah.
I think what we would do for Pedestal of Pain is we'd probably just cast it in gray, and not make it translucent for the other colors.
But it's got baked in LEDs.
Oh,
It has
man.
a LEDs. It has a glowing circle on the top.
Okay, yeah, you're right. We'd probably just have to do it.
I don't know if it's ever gonna live in other Underdoom maybe. But Ice
Underdoom
doesn't
was a
make
chance.
sense.
It
Like,
just is a lot more complicated when we're talking about it being in the cheese.
well, part of the problem is it's cast in that yellow, so it's like
Yeah. You
yeah.
could probably justify having lava in an Underdoom cavern. You definitely can't do it with ice. You'd
No,
have to
ice
you'd have to
would be
figure something
funny.
else out for ice, and then you definitely couldn't do it in the yellow. I don't know. It's definitely more complicated than some of the other stuff that we're getting done first.
Huh.
Night, David. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
I'm getting like
I want more pieces. We need
like
more.
lightheaded.
Uh-oh.
Is there an ETA for the next web store restock after February? Not currently. No thoughts on what it might contain yet. We haven't gotten the order in yet.
Didn't we just put a restock order in right when Dungeon Reforged launched?
Not that I'm aware of.
Wasn't there?
Unless it's the one coming in February.
What was it? Maybe it's the one coming in February. There was some some race to get it to.
There's like a reserve release thing. I know we rushed out this one that was coming in February, and we got like the Moam in there and stuff.
Yeah, maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. There was one that was just
maybe.
raced through the thing.
As far as I'm aware, we haven't booked the next one after this February
No,
restock
that's
yet.
too far out, I think.
Yeah, I'll have to.
What are you
I'll check
hoping
with it.
for in the restock?
I know stuff I want to do, but
No, what are they hoping for?
Yeah. we're seeing. Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea have snow caps. Lava plus snow isn't impossible. I feel like it's different than a lava spurt inside an ice cavern, though. I don't know. We'll see. It's just not high priority currently. Maybe we will just end up doing it that way at some point, but
It also might look weird. I don't know. Like
we'd have to play around with it. Could just ask Hamster to take an
there's
unpainted,
higher we got
take an unpainted pedestal of pain and just see how does this look in Underdoom. Could we actually just do it with this casting color and see? Yeah, I think it still would come after a lot of other stuff, but
yeah.
It's part of the reason why you guys sell stuff unpainted, right? Yeah. There's some custom paint stuff where it's not a scheme that we could produce at any large scale reliably, but we'll give it to you guys. You can do it. We did that like painting a autumn forest scheme. We did like that video, and while restocking that entire forest line in a fall paint scheme is very unlikely for us.
Doing it in a video, or
doing it
yourself?
doing it yourself, showing you how you could do it yourself. That's a lot easier for us to do. So. Top vote remains Pedestal of Pain. Seeing it combined with the Dread Pedestal and Dungeons Reforged videos really sold me. Yeah, it's one of the things I really want to work into as just a straight reorder. It was put with the Dread Pedestal.
What was?
In the Pedestal of Pain.
Oh yeah. Down in the Hellscape build.
Yeah.
That. I mean, just restocking it in Hellscape is not nuts. Like that's a good.
Yeah. Hellscape, and I think we could probably justify standard as well.
We're gonna do the print run. Might as well.
Yeah, if we're gonna do the print run, we might as well make them do both of the cheese pieces at the same time.
Double cheese
Yeah.
burger.
Any chance of ever bringing back the Build of the Month series? Not with the bandwidth we currently have.
No.
It was just too much for us to.
Closest we got were
doing.
those various like compatibility and walkthroughs. They were super fun. I adore it. One day.
Yeah, we do have the
When I retire.
stairway. It might not be in stock, but I believe we do have the stairway in. Let's see.
Oh, I should use double high.
Yeah, it's out of stock in Underdoom. We could reorder it. I need to get that in ice as well, actually.
Get what in ice?
Stairway to Violence.
Yes. You know, we never did the bottom.
Just the top in the Ice Catacomb set. I need to get one of the errands to do that Paint Master so we can get that going, because that would sell if we got it in ice. Because I don't think you've been able to get the top in ice either, just because like
it was in
only
the
in that
Catacomb
adventure
and
pack.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me look at this thing.
This is gonna be up one floor.
Yeah, the top is there in ice, but there's no bottom. Yeah, so we gotta do that. I hope we have 2 of those bases unpainted here, and then I can just toss it over. Yeah. Okay, I should do that. Add that to the list. Great stream, thanks so much. Thank you. I left to get Arby's while Nate was unboxing roofs, and now there's an entire mountain. What? Oh, he traded the tables out. He's working on this build for PAX.
I'd already pre-built this. Yeah. I can't build that fast. Are you kidding?
Cavern door, double door, and LED wall packs are always scarce in all variants. The LED walls we recently restocked. Did they already sell down again? We hadn't restocked them since the campaign.
Which which biome are we talking?
Cavern LED walls. Okay, so it's still there in standard. We need to reorder it in Underdoom. Did it ever exist in ice?
No.
So we got to do that in ice as well. Okay. Add that to the list. Cave entrance wall. That piece just straight up does not exist in ice. Okay, so we'd have to do a paint master for that.
There's a huge chunk of the cavern stuff that didn't get made in ice.
None of the pieces in the LED wall pack were done in ice. The freestanding basalt wall wasn't either. Are there cave cliffs in ice? Nope. That's something I already have as like a big task. Is to do the entire cave cliffs line in ice. Man, okay. We sure got a lot to do. No sleep in Brooklyn. You're going long tonight. We should. Oh, it's 8:59. We should.
God, man.
We should wrap.
All right.
Yeah.
Where's this other?
Who sculpted the 2-headed gator? I picked one up in the reserve release.
Sandra Garrity, I think.
Man, yeah, that's an oldie.
Yeah.
Add it all to the snow campaign.
It was either Sandra
Snow and
or
ice are very
Drew.
different things.
I think it was Sandra.
It's hard to remember a lot of stuff back then. Crystals and Hellscape could be neat too. That'd be a whole thing. That would be a way down the road thing. Crystals and ice first, you know? Crystal caverns and ice first. But even that is probably still a bit of what, you know, it would sell like crazy if we did it though.
It would be cool.
It would. You've not been able to get those before. If we did ice and crystals, it would sell immediately.
Yeah, it would be really neat. I mean, honestly, there's so much. You know, that's why I think Caverns Reforged is going to be our next Reforged because there's so much to do in there.
It just doesn't make sense. With Dungeons Reforged, we could do. I don't know. I have a hard time seeing like what the sensible offer would be instead of just kind of a, because with Dungeons Reforged we were doing like whole new core sets, and the core sets in Caverns feel very strong.
Yeah.
We like running the core megas in the other paint schemes.
There's
would be nice,
plenty
but...
we can do. I don't know. We got a something. We'll see. Because there's more potential in Caverns probably than any other biome in terms of like just like layups of things to add.
Burrows, baby. I don't know. I guess I struggle to see. I'll talk about it, but I struggle to see a good offer for it coming together as opposed to doing it straight to store. Compared to, I think the Cities Reforged, there's like a super clear offer that makes it worth kind of coming in and going big on the campaign, I guess. And I'm not sure. We'll see.
Yeah, don't worry.
It'd be 2026.
This is why
at the earliest.
This is why I do development. Oh. Oh. All right, we should is there a hobby hang tomorrow night?
There is. Hamster, you're going to be having the full right before he just said he's out.
Okay.
Hamster, if you're still here, you're going to be having the Turbo Dork people on tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Did
I go on tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the Turbo Dork people are joining us for Hobby Hang tomorrow to help advertise the holiday market, I believe.
That if you haven't used the Turbo Dork paints, they are really fun.
They're very cool.
Like, they're really, really neat.
Okay.
So that's something that'll be fun to look forward to.
Yes.
And then we are off. We're off next week for Thanksgiving, and no Hobby Hang. Also, I'm assuming. And then we're off to PAX.
Mm-hmm.
So come see us at booth 4103?
4132.
4132.
Yeah.
And then,
4132.
then we'll be back. What's wild is then we'll be back. We'll have like 2 more, and then we'll be off for the next holidays. It's wild. This is the whole holiday season. It's a thing.
Yes. All right.
Holiday market's open tomorrow at noon, right?
Yeah, tomorrow at noon.
Jump
We
on
got still got just a couple things to get worked out for that.
Poof, coming fast. But come see us at PAX.
Yeah.
Come, love to say hi. You know what we gotta remember? We'll bring some of the Starforged test shots, so you can see the Starforged stuff in Dwarvenite. We'll have Lowtown there. We'll have Dungeons Reforged, so you can see all the new pieces. You can see the Sinister. We'll have us. So it'll be great.
Yeah.
Come check it out. Ooh, I can put this up.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, once I start building, I just don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop. These pieces are so fun.
Good night, everybody.
First time I got to build with the actual Lowtown stuff.